Hello friends, comment ça va? Welcome to Cajun Charles, your place for Cajun cooking and a little storytelling. Hello friends, well today Cajun Charles is going to cook shrimp for you. And as in Forrest Gump, there's so many different ways to cook shrimp. And we're going to make barbecue shrimp today, and there are several different ways to do it. But the version we're going to do today involves my one and only Jack Miller's barbecue sauce, made in Ville Platte, Louisiana. Got my black iron pot here, and we're going to start out with a half a cup of green peppers, half a cup of onions, a quarter of a cup, we're going to use green onions. This is the bottom part of it with a little white on it. We're going to use a quarter of that. And then we're going to put in a tablespoon of garlic. Now, those portions, we're going to make 1.5 pounds of shrimp. Now my shrimp has been sitting in the refrigerator. It's got my Cajun Charles seasoning in it and a little lemon juice, and it's been just marinating in the refrigerator for the past few hours. Now we're going to saute these onions and peppers until they get a little clearer. They're about medium heat. And barbecue shrimp, you can have it by itself, you can have it as an appetizer, you can serve it over rice, which is the way I like it. You can serve it over pasta, which my wife Lori loves. So you got many different ways you can have it. So, rice, I got it cooking in my rice cooker back here. And you know when you make rice, you're supposed to have a certain portion of rice to water. Well, I was taught years ago by my dad. I'd ask him, he'd say, well, put on some rice, son. So I said, well, how much water do I put in there? He said, well, you put enough water until it comes to your finger right there, and then you got enough. That's where you stop. So that's how I've cooked rice all my life. You put your rice in your pot, you wash it, you pour out the water that you used to wash it, then you put some new water in there, and it comes up to that first knuckle on your pointy finger there, and that's enough water. And then you add a little salt. We got a little time here while this is sauteing. I'm going to tell you a quick story about my dad, Bert. He worked hard all his life, him. And he used to he'd work all day for the State Highway Department, and then he'd come home. My mom, Mary, would have dinner ready, he'd eat. And then as we were growing up, in order us to do things like have Converse sneakers so we could play basketball, he'd go work at the docks. And he'd be throwing them 50, 100-pound sacks, whatever those rice sacks were in the bottom of them boats. Well, he was pretty strong then. Well, when my wife and I, Lori, were building our first house, we asked the builder if we could help save some money. And he said, well, what did y'all know how to do it? Well, one of the things we knew how to do was roof a house. So he had all the roofing materials sent to the house, and then one Saturday morning, we were going to roof. So it was me and my dad and a couple of my uncles and my cousins, and then my brother Brent, and then my brother-in-law to my wife Lori, Glenn. He was, poor guy, he was visiting. And it was in August, a Saturday morning in August. And my mom and my aunt and my sisters were all there. They were cooking lunch for us. It was an all-day affair. So, since it was a new house, we didn't have to take off the old roof. We just had to put on a new one. And so we started putting on the felt. And it was the job of my brother Brent and my brother-in-law, Glenn, to bring the shingles and put them on the roof. Now those shingles, those packs weigh 60, 70 pounds each. So I'm helping my dad and my uncle and my cousins put on the felt. And my brother Brent and my brother-in-law Glenn, they bringing up packs. And then they start roofing. Well, and in no time at all, we're out of shingles. So my dad, he goes to the end of the roof and he looks down there and he says, "Hey Brent, what y'all doing? We out of shingles, we ain't got all day." And my brother Brent looks up there and he says, "Pop, man, those are heavy. We're tired. We got to take a break." He said, "We ain't got all day, boys. We got to get this house roofed." So he goes down that ladder and he didn't grab one pack. He grabbed two. He put a pack of shingles on one shoulder. He put another pack on the other shoulder. And he went up that ladder like it was nothing. 8 packs. Bam, 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 bam. Got him up there. He looked down there at my brother and my brother-in-law and said, "Now, y'all need to keep up." And he went right back to doing shingles. And man, he was strong. Okay. As you can see, we got our onion sauteing here. We're going to put a little bit of Cajun Charles seasoning in there. Yeah, just a little bit. Now, we've been doing that about 5 minutes or so. Now we're going to add the shrimp. Like I said, I got about 1.5 pounds of shrimp there. And we're going to let that cook for a little while until the shrimp start to turn a little pink. Okay, we're going to let that cook for a while and I'll get back with you after a while. I'm back, friends. It's been about 10 minutes that the shrimp has been cooking, and I'm pretty sure it's 10 minutes because that's how long I had to put this bread in the oven to cook it. And you know, you got to have some bread to dip into the sauce. So, you can see here I got my shrimp has been sauteing, and we're going to add a little bit of hot sauce. One more little bit. That's good. And then now, like I said earlier, we're going to put in some Jack Millers. And you put in 1 cup of Jack Millers for every pound. So since I have 1.5 pounds, I'm going to put 1.5 cups of Jack Millers. Get in there. Now we're going to stir that in there. And all you got to do with this is just get it hot. You know, the shrimp is cooked. The onions are cooked. You just need to let it sit in here until you get the barbecue sauce warmed up. Boy, that's looking good. And the last thing we're going to add is the other end of the green onions. Like I said earlier, I had about 1/4 cup of the bottoms, and this is a little over 1/4 of the tops of the green onions. Put that in there. Boy, that looks good. Like I said, all we got to do is let it get heated up and it's ready to go. So once I stir these green onions in there a little bit, I think I can do a little taste test on that. Got my rice over here. Let's see how we did us. I love that Jack Miller's barbecue sauce. Give me a little shrimp in there. That's so good. Little barbecue shrimp. Thank you, friends. Au revoir. Bonsoir. Hello, friends. If you would like to ride along with me in my pirogue and learn some more about my Cajun cooking and hear a few more of my Cajun stories, click the subscribe button below. And if you would like to know when I've docked my little pirogue and ready to cook and tell stories, hit the little bell. Merci beaucoup.